Hello, everyone. Today's screencast, we're going to attempt, Mrs. Wright is sitting here with me, and we're going to attempt to describe and show you the steps that the 2-3 math team has accomplished. We're going to look at a common formative assessment. We're going to look at the steps preceding the common assessment. We're going to look at the steps after that. So basically what happened was our 2-6 math team broke off into a 2-3 team and a 4-6 team, and then collectively once a month they're going to come back together. But they did so in the hopes that they could deal with smaller pieces of some of this data and make inroads into some of the instructional practices. So what you're looking at right now, I'll tell you what, Jamie, why don't you tell me what we are looking at and point out for me, please.
First, when we met, we pulled out our STAR data and looked through the different standards, and we found that a common standard that we were both second and third grade low in was our number and base 10 standard. So you can see where Mr. Moore's pointing. It has the standard, and then down below here we entered our data for the kids who took it and how many are in the at or above, within, and below, and we noticed that there's a huge percentage of kids below in that standard.
Okay, and specifically it was the MBT in second grade was the one being in third grade. You know, the sister standard was standard A. So that led them then to talk, since they saw a large number here, then their next decision was that they knew they needed a common assessment, because you got a second grade math teacher and a third grade math teacher, which in reality they had to consider first grade standards and second grade standards. Third grade teacher has to consider fourth grade standards. So Jamie, if you would take us through the way the assessment was set up and why it's set up the way it is.
The first thing we did was we pulled out all of the standards and aligned them together, so that, because all of the standards, they didn't just go straight in an order that made sense. So for this one, we combined them. This is the first grade standard that matches up with these two second grade standards. I'm going to scroll down for a minute
So
before I go through the test.
Okay.
We went through and made a chart like this, and this is the standard code, and then the ICANNs that go with it and the questions that cover it. And
So
these
there-
build upon each other within each section.
So there are 9 questions. The first 9 questions, click on that for me. The first nine questions then have to do with those connected standards. So looks like there's 4 or 5 questions. Number 15, 16, 17, that's 4 questions. One of them's a first grade standard, second grade standard, and it looks like there's a fourth grade standard. So you've got those sectioned off into 9 different sections. Okay, that makes sense.
So then as the kids took it, they built upon each other. So in this section, it started out with the first grade standard, built into the second, third, and down to fourth grade standard for each section. And then we gave this assessment to all of the second graders and third graders in our classes, so that we could
Okay.
group them.
And you took a class period to do that. All second and third graders took that.
It took about 2 days.
Okay, because there were some of them that needed probably accommodations
Mm-hmm.
and things. Okay, so after that, then
We created a form to score it. So instead of hand grading all of them and re-entering data, I created this form, and you just go through and click the answers.
which ends up then in a spreadsheet. Wow. Okay, there's a lot of tabs here. There's a lot of stuff on here. Go slow. Don't overwhelm me too much, but explain what I'm looking at here.
What happened was, originally this all came in white. I did a little bit of conditional formatting to get my colors the way. All of the kids' names are down here and their grade levels. The way that I have it sorted right now is from lowest score to highest score. So that's why the grade levels are mixed up over here. They're divided into sections. So these right here are the answers to each question. You can see we just gave 1 point for correct, 0 points for incorrect. And it goes across, and you can see all the kids' scores. Right now, I also have it color-coded. Red are first grade questions, blue are second grade, orange are third grade, and pink are fourth grade, so that we could easily see the data. And then I also have it sectioned into the 9 sections, which were the standards that we had broken up.
So section 9 is all 4th grade standards,
Mhm.
am I right?
Yeah,
Okay.
because there were no first, second, or third grade standards that matched up with this. Same as here, this was first grade, there weren't any corresponding second, third, or fourth grade
Okay.
standards.
Okay.
So then over here, we decided as a team that our at or above benchmark would be 80 to 100%, within would be 65 to 80, and below would be 0 to 64%. So then over here, each section, it tells the percentage that the kid got in that section on those questions, and then it also has the grade level, so we can see.
Don't be afraid to click, because that'll show up as a,
Okay. Over here, it will show in each grade level the percentage of questions they got correct. So then what we did over here was I calculated for this student as a second grader, of the first and second grade questions, they got 45% of them right. And it, as you can see, it breaks it into our below benchmark kids, our within benchmark kids, and our at or above benchmark kids. So then as we're looking,
so let me clarify that. So I can look here at this student and know what they've got on the test total, but knowing that this child is a second grader, that doesn't surprise me. He only got 51% because some of those are third grade standards and fourth grade standards.
correct.
On grade level, as a second grader, he got 71 or she got 71% of them
Yes.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so at their grade level, that child is within benchmark.
Gotcha.
They're below for the whole test, but that's not surprising because they probably haven't been introduced to that many
Okay.
standards.
Good.
Oh.
Good. And so that's a pretty extensive spreadsheet, but I think you've covered those scenarios. I like how you can tell the difference between what's mastery at grade level and what's mastery on the actual common assessment.
Mhm.
I'm sure that, did you have to tweak it? You think you have to tweak the assessment now that you've given it?
That's what we're meeting tomorrow, to go through and look at each question and see if there were multiple kids who missed one question, to see if it was, our wording or if it's
Okay.
something that we're
Okay.
teaching.
So now you met once, you used data, you found the strengths and weaknesses. Plan of action was to get some data, specific data on a common assessment. What's next?
What we'll do next is when we meet tomorrow, we will put kids into their categories of at and above, within benchmark and below, and then we will start talking about the strengths and weaknesses of each group, and then we're going to form groups to instruct. So all the kids who need NBTA 1 will be grouped together and they will get instruction at that level, versus if there's a group that needs fourth grade standards, they will get taught those standards at that level.
Okay. And one thing that came to light yesterday also was when, I'm trying to get back to, I'm sorry, this one. You mentioned that your work in K1, the first grade math teachers have some kids that are on the second grade standards, and you've already have personalized learning plans for the first graders that include second grade standards. So there's already some activities collected and things on their iPads and Chromebooks and Google Classroom where, since first graders can access the second graders, if I'm a third grade teacher or a second grade teacher, I could probably use those same personalized learning plans that were just developed last week
Yes.
from the K1 teams. Is that correct? Okay, so some of the work is going to bleed over that way. That's good to hear too. Is there anything else we need to know, any of our viewers should know about this?
I don't think so.
Okay, I hope so. The goal was to show you some of the progress made and what the synergy of people using their experiences together in a group can do. So we'll give you some updates and as the progress goes. Thank you, Ms. Wright.